Welcome everyone to this new BFDI What If. What if BFDI? What if Penn didn't cheat on episode 15? So in this timeline, instead of asking Leafy to give him the taco, Penn asks Leafy if she could help him. This of course is just laziness because Penn can't do the taco by himself. But since Leafy wouldn't notice it, and since most of the audience are about 10 or to 12 at this point, they wouldn't notice it either. So they just rub it off at something okay-ish. And since Penn is bad at almost everything in the BFDI, I think he'd get just the same 3 out of 10 he received. Him, Bubble, and Rocky are up for elimination. Let's see who'll go. For obvious reasons, Bubble is the first one safe, which leaves it to Penn and Rocky. Penn is here because he might be seen as boring, according to announcery, and Rocky's here because his part is seen as disgusting. Anyways, this might be close, but Rocky would get out. I think Blocky and Eraser fans, knowing that Bubble would obviously be safe, would dogpile on Rocky. And even if this was very close, I don't think Rocky would manage to be safe if Penn didn't cheat. Okay, so now it's time for the bowling ball craziness. Okay, so what would Penn's score be? Since he isn't good at much stuff, as I just said, I think he'd get a mediocre score. Now, since Leafy threw the least pins, I think she'd be up first. And just like in the original, she'd take 10 points of everyone. Now time for Penn. I think since he's mostly neutral to everyone, I think he'd do the same thing as Leafy. But he'd take 17 points of everyone except him and Blocky. But there's just 1 point left. So I think he'd get it out from Pencil since he's in the lead. Well, that was a change. Anyways, I think Pencil would again do the same thing as Leafy. So taking 25 points of everyone except her alliance. Now for Blocky. He drains away all of Bubble's points and he has 129 points left. And he removes 69 from Leafy. And since Pencil, of course, is higher in this leaderboard, he removes 65 points from her. And finally, for Fiery, he takes away 100 points off of Ice Cube and 100 points off of Spongy. He'd also take away 40 points from Blocky. And since Penn, Leafy, and Pencil took away his points, he'd get 20 points out of them each. So this is a mess. Anyways, the only person safe here is Fiery. Just like on almost every elimination, Icy is the first one to be safe, followed by Bubble and Leafy for obvious reasons. Spongy might be seen as bland or boring, but he doesn't have enough haters to get him out yet. Penn might be seen as boring by the viewers, but just like in Spongy's case, he doesn't have enough haters to be eliminated right now. And Pencil might be mean, but she's definitely not as hated as the other two. Now it's between Blocky and Tennis Ball. Blocky's here because he's seen as very mean, and Tennis Ball is here because he's boring. Anyways, eliminated is Blocky. Even with Penn and Eraser fans voting for other characters, I see no way he would survive over Tennis Ball. So now for the Frisbee contest, I think the pairs would be Bubble and Pencil, of course, Leafy and Icy because they're friends, and Fiery and Tennis Ball because they're also seem to be kind of friendish, and then Penn is stuck, with air quotes, with Spongy. So, yeah. Pencil and Bubble finish first. In this timeline, I think Fire and TB finished second. Penn and Spongy finished third. Because even with arms, it's shown that Penn can be very clumsy. But I think it'd be close. And yeah, Leafy and Icy do not finish.
Now let's add up the points. Since Icy had the least votes in this cake at stake, she gets 125 points extra. And while Icy's in the lead, it's short-lived because Pencil and Bubble, since they were in first place, get a total of 200 points. Fiery and Tennis Ball get a total of 100 each. Pen and Spongy get 15. And Ice Cube and Leafy both lose 1,000 each. So, yeah, these are the people who are going to be up for voting. Bubble and Pencil vote for Spongy for obvious reasons. Fiery votes for Icy because she's his opposite. Leafy would have still bribed Pencil and Bubble. So Tennis would vote for her because he thinks that's unfair, and it is. And while I don't know if Pen would vote for either Spongy or Leafy, I think he'd end up voting for Spongy. So Spongy leaves the game. Now, I don't think much would change. David still joins. Now let's begin the spicy staring contest. These are the pairs. Pencil is against Tennis Ball, Fiery against David, Pen against Icy, and Bubble against Leafy. Pencil obviously wins to Tennis Ball. Even though Pen is quite bad at challenges, I don't think he's weak enough to lose to Ice Cube, so he wins. David scares Fiery, so David wins. And Bubble just removes her shoes, which causes Leafy to lose. So now Bubble's against David, and Pencil is against Pen, and of course, Pencil wins, and David scares Bubble, so he wins. And since Pencil originally won to David, we can deduct the points, and let's add them up. So it seems like David, Leafy, and Bubble are up for voting. Yeah, let's speed this up. There's no way David survives over Leafy. He's eliminated. So now the points are gone, and it's time for the unicycle contest. Well, since Spongy isn't here, some stuff will change, but I think Fiery will win and be the first safe. I think Pencil will help Bubble, and they'd also survive. And if you're wondering, Fiery chooses T. Icy, for some reason, in BFDI, BFDIA, and early BFB, was always the first one safe. And this is no different. So now it's between Pen and Leafy. Pen is here because he's more boring than watching paint dry, and Leafy's just so nice that people might just not like it. But I think it's obvious who is safe. Leafy. Pen is eliminated. Ice Cube would get abducted by aliens, and I think TB is the first one to get shot. Fiery and Leafy for their friendship, and shoot out Pencil. Leafy gets sucked into a black hole, I think, most likely, and Fiery loses his spaceship, and Bubble shoots him. So, yeah, Bubble chooses one person to be safe, and she obviously chooses Pencil. Yeah, the rejoiner would still be Flower, and yes, Snowball would still open his pretty mouth and get Icy eliminated. Leafy still wins, and since there's no reason for her to give out her immunity, she's immune. Bubble and Fiery are safe for obvious reasons. And while Tennis Ball is much more hated than Bubble or Fiery, he is definitely safe. Which leaves it to Pencil and Flower. Pencil's here because she's seen as mean, and Flower is here because she's seen as annoying. But while Flower would have most likely lived, since she has just rejoined, I think the viewers would target Pencil to get her eliminated. Sorry, Pencil fans. Now, for the Volcano Challenge, no one escapes, but for the Beauty Contest, I think that Tennis Ball would build a speaker box, and Flower speaker box would choose Flower, Fiery speaker box would choose Fiery, and TB speaker box would choose Tennis Ball. So for elimination is only Leafy and Bubble. So this elimination was extremely difficult to decide. But I'm going to go with the safe case here. Leafy's eliminated. I know this would be extremely close, maybe 3-4 votes difference, but yeah, Leafy's out. Okay, so who'd win the final challenge? It wouldn't be Bubble since she'd get stuck on the test. And Fiery would waste time making a cake instead of using dirt, which leaves Flower and Tennis Ball. Yeah, I think Tennis Ball obviously wins. Yeah, this is another obvious elimination. Flower's out. There's no way she'd survive. So yeah, these are the finals. Now, let's see who'll place third. Most people will think it'd be Bubble. But since Leafy isn't here, I think Bubble wouldn't be third. Because she only got third because she actually stood up for herself in BFDI 23. And even though people wanted her to stand up for herself, that got her a lot of hate. But in this timeline, since she's still extremely nice, I think she wouldn't be third. I think third would end up being Fiery. Yeah, I know you're super weirded out. Why isn't Tennis Ball third? Well, I think that over time he would get a lot of fans, and yeah, those fans would vote for him. And Fiery would fall behind, only having Leafy and his previous fans. But who will win, Tennis Ball or Bubble? Yeah, there's no way Tennis Ball would survive over Bubble. So Bubble lets everyone into Dream Island, I think most likely. And yeah, now stay tuned for part 2, which is going to be BFDIA, what if Fen didn't cheat.